situation in your life that has shifted your perspective on how you view life now?
Okay, so I think one situation that has shifted my perspective on life was during sophomore year of high school, where I found out I had cancer. It started with me just going in for a physical, and the doctor found a small lump in my neck, and I ended up having to be pulled out of school like 3 times every week to go in for doctor visits, biopsies, ultrasounds, and all of that stuff. Okay, so I had thyroid cancer. I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. I had a cancerous lump on half of my thyroid gland, so I ended up getting half of it taken out. I still have one half. And so your thyroid is this gland that regulates your hormones, like how many hormones you're producing, and it also controls your temperature. So after surgery, when my thyroid was getting used to just having half and only being able to work off of half of it, I ended up getting cold, and I'd always be cold. I still get cold a lot, and that's because of my thyroid acting up. So I used to get like heated blankets and all that stuff, but I went to see 2 doctors to get 2 opinions on what I should do. And thyroid cancer is not common in sophomores, like 14. How old are we sophomore? 16. Damn, okay. Thyroid cancer is not common for 16-year-olds to get. It's common for middle-aged women to get, and so I really had no choice of what to do in this situation. My mom was like, you're gonna get it taken out, because if I didn't get it taken out and it was cancerous, it could spread to the rest of my neck and then into my lungs. And after it spread into my lungs, depending on how bad it was gonna be, it could cause my airways to shut off and I would have to have a breathing tube. So I ended up having to get surgery, and I was pulled out of school once again for surgery, and the recovery process sucked, and I had to stay home for 2 weeks to recover from it. And after surgery, I finally found out that it was cancerous, and it didn't hit me until then that life can be short and time is valuable, and you should not waste your time, because you can lose it in a second and you never know when. So like, live life to the fullest, and like, do not waste a second if you can.
When you were like, you're kind of like living a double life almost. You're kind of like in high school trying to be like a kid almost, but then you also like were in the hospital or going to the doctor's office and having all these appointments. Like, did you tell your friends about this, or were you just kind of like hiding it?
So yeah, all my friends knew. All of my friends knew. They knew when the surgery date was, all the doctor visits I was going to, especially if I had like certain friends in classes, I would let them know to like give me the homework and stuff, because I felt super behind during it, and it was right before first semester finals, so I had to get my grades up for that and make sure I was ready to take those tests. So my mom ended up taking me down, so I had my procedure done in Chicago, so she ended up taking me down to the city the day before, and I missed school, so we could hang out before, go shopping. So we ended up walking to the hospital, and I wasn't really nervous. I really didn't know what to expect from it. Like, I'm surprised I wasn't scared. It really didn't hit me till after everything went on, and like, coming out of surgery,
Can't even like, how were you not scared? Like, it's your throat. Like, oh my gosh, like, you're amazing. Like, oh my god.
It was kind of scary having them like cut in my throat, because I'm like, don't you normally bleed out? But I guess not.
I'm still here.
I'm still here. But yeah, I was super duper like, almost like upset and uncomfortable. I remember after the surgery, because I was in like a hospital bed. I was in a small hospital room. You can't really sleep. There are so many like lights, there's so many sounds going on, and I only stayed there one night after surgery, and my heart rate kept going down, so one of the machines kept beeping, so the nurse would have to come in every single hour.
Were you conscious, or were you like asleep?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so my surgery was like 3 hours, and I woke up after that, and then they just had me on narcotics.
Oh gosh. After like your surgery, like was it weird going back to like living normal, quote unquote, like normally, like going to school and like passing people that like they just walked past you, but they didn't even know that like you had this like not double life, but like you had a completely different life. Like was that weird to you?
For sure, especially like literally just staying in bed for those 2 weeks after surgery, not being able to do anything, not being able to lift anything heavier than a milk jug, and just not even being able to move up because it was my neck and it just hurt so bad. So I couldn't even stand up half of the time. I needed help getting out of bed. So it was for sure hard, especially coming back to school. I had this really like crazy ass scar on my neck, and I had, at the time I wasn't able to carry a backpack, so I had to buy a rolling backpack.
The rolling backpack. That kid.
I was like with the rolling, so I'd be like walking through the halls with my little backpack, and I would end up tripping over it because I was so scared other people would trip over it. It was just, it wasn't it. So I was happy to be able to carry a backpack once I was able.
Like it's just crazy. Like before that, prior to that, you probably wouldn't. You just like everyone just like carries a backpack. You don't think much about it. But then after your surgery, well, like I get to carry a backpack. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
and then everyone's looking at you with this rolling backpack. They're like, "What are you? Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like,
guys, you don't know my story. So now, like a couple years after your surgery, what has like really has that? Would you say that's just been like a pivotal movement in like how you just like see everyday things now?
yeah, 100%. I feel like I'm more open to new things, or I try to be more open to new things and just like experience as many things as I can experience, especially with going to college, trying to get that whole college experience and not miss out on anything, or just like when I have an opportunity to go and do something that I haven't done before, just to take it, because you really don't know what can happen at the end of the day.